A very good morning, my dear students. I am Dr. Pranjal Baishya, Assistant Professor, Physiotherapy Department. So, today in this e-module series, we will be studying the neuroanatomy series, in which today I will be covering the basics of neuroanatomy. Now, if we talk about the basic anatomical knowledge, there are few terms. First, the anterior term refers to the front of the body, the posterior term refers to the back side of the body, and the lateral refers to the side of the body. The terms medial, lateral and superficial have the same meaning as they are used in the gross anatomy. The medial refers to close to the midline axis, the lateral refers to away from the midline axis, and the superficial is towards the front of the body and deep is towards the inside of the body. The term ipsilateral means the same side and the term contralateral means the opposite side. Now, if we talk about the planes in neuroanatomy, basically we have three planes. Okay? The sagittal plane, which divides the body into two equal halves, the frontal plane, which divides the body into front and back, and the horizontal plane, which divides the body into upper and lower parts. Now, if we talk about the nervous system, now the nervous system basically is divided into two main parts. Okay? First, the central nervous system, and second, the peripheral nervous system. Now, what do we mean by the central nervous system? Central nervous system, as the name suggests, is the central commanding center of the body, which comprises of the brain and the spinal cord. Okay? Now, the brain and spinal cord are the main things of the nervous system, whereas the peripheral nervous system comprises of the spinal nerve roots, which supplies the peripheries of the body like the hands and the limbs. Now, if we talk about the central nervous system, the brain. First, the brain is divided into three parts. Okay? The forebrain, the midbrain and the hindbrain. Now, the forebrain consists of the telencephalon, which is the cerebral cortex, and the diencephalon, which is the motor cortex. Now, the hindbrain basically consists of three structures, which are the cerebellum, which is primarily responsible for balancing activities, the pons and the medulla oblongata. If we talk about the spinal cord basically is divided into five segments. First, the cervical spinal cord, which consists of 8 pairs of spinal nerves, the thoracic spinal nerves, which consists of 12 pairs of spinal nerves, the lumbar spinal cord, which consists of 5 pairs of spinal nerves, the sacral consists of 5 pairs, and the coccygeal consists of 1 pair of spinal nerves. Okay? Now, basically, if we talk about the basic functional unit of the nervous system, it is the neuron. Okay? The basic functional unit of nervous system is the neuron. Now, neurons are composed of the cell body, the dendrites and the axon. Now, axon primarily can be myelinated or non-myelinated. Myelinated axons basically are responsible for fast conduction of the nerve impulses, whereas the non-myelinated axons are responsible for the slow conduction of the nerve impulses. Now, if we look into the parts of the neurons, the collection of cell bodies constitute the grey matter, while the collection of the axons constitute the white matter of the spinal cord. Okay? Now, the cell bodies that are concentrated mainly are cerebral and the cerebral cortex, spinal cord grey matter, various nuclei in the central nervous system and various ganglia in the peripheral nervous system. Now, white matter is present mainly in various sensory and motor tracts of the CNS and the projection fibers, whereas the commissural fibers which connects the two cerebral hemispheres mainly are the corpus callosum, and there are anterior and posterior commissures also, and there are various associational fibers which connect the same cerebral hemisphere. Now, if we talk about the types of neurons, there are morphological classification of neurons like the multipolar neurons, which are having multiple axons and dendrites, the bipolar neurons which are having 2 dendrites, unipolar neurons which are having 1 dendrite and 1 axon. Now, if we talk about the non-neuronal cells, they are called the neuroglial cells or simply the glial cells. Okay. Now, they have various roles and functions to support the neurons. Now, the major types of glial cells are the astrocytes, oligodendrocytes and microglia. Now, if we talk about the basics of non-neuronal cells, oligodendrocytes are found in the CNS white matter and they produce the myelin sheath. Now, as I have already explained that the presence of myelin sheath is primarily responsible for the fast conduction of the nerve fibers. Okay. Now, the microglia are the main immune defense systems in the CNS and they originate from the monocytes. Ependymal cells line the brain ventricles and the spinal canal and they assist in the movement of the CSF or the cerebrospinal fluid. Now, Schwann cells produce the myelin sheaths in the peripheral nervous system. Satellite cells of the ganglia basically support the neuronal cell bodies of the ganglia. Now, this was the basic of neuroanatomy. Let us quickly revise what we have studied till now. First, the brain, the nervous system is composed of 2 main parts, the central nervous system and the peripheral nervous system. The central nervous system is composed of the brain and the spinal cord, and the peripheral nervous system is composed of the spinal nerves. Spinal nerves are further classified into 5 types: cervical, lumbar, thoracic, sacral and coccygeal. Alright. The brain consists of the forebrain, midbrain and hindbrain. Okay. So, in the next class we will be discussing about the various other aspects of nervous system. Thank you.